Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 2 of my What If Deku was trained by the Straw Hats. In the last part, I ended it right after everyone reacted to Izuku's weapons, and at the same time, right after Aizawa said that they were going to do a test to see where everyone is and what strength people have and stuff like that. So everyone goes to change, and the one thing that everyone basically sees and reacts to is Izuku. His body is, has a massive amount of muscle on it, as well as having a lot of scars since he was a pirate for 3 years, training and fighting. So it kind of went with it. But basically, he has scars that are. Some of them thinks. How. Well, no. Literally, Kirishima asked him, how the hell did you survive that one, pointing to one that's basically like. Not exactly like Zoro, but at one point he did get cut. Like. Let's say when on the island with, well, when they fought Big Mom. Let's say at one point, no, not Big Mom, Doflamingo. Doflamingo used, well, the attack that he can use with his strength that basically cuts through practically anything. He basically used that on Izuku, cutting his chest. But since he has basically the exact same mindset that Zoro and the same willpower, he basically survived it as well. So all he says is basically that the people with the people with who he was, they had the best doctor, and he's the one who trained him, and everyone was like, if he can stop something like that from killing you, what the hell can you do with all of that? So after they changed, they went to Aizawa. Aizawa started by asking someone with a quirk that scored high, so Bakugo, to throw the ball with his quirk. He did it and got about the same as in the anime. I just forgot something. I have to go check. Be right back. Okay, yeah, so I made a mistake. I said Bakugo got stronger because he trained with Izuku. I I knew when I said the phrase that he got the same score, there was a problem in that. So he got about like, since he trained since Izuku came back with him for like practically every day. So he got a lot. He got more than that, like almost a full no, more than a full kilometer. So basically, they start doing the other tests where for the jump test, Bakugo got a really big number because he basically tried doing what Izuku was doing with Skywalk, but using his explosion to give himself boost. So one explosion, wait a bit, another explosion, continuing like that, as if he was stepping on the air, but with explosions. Izuku got infinite for good reasons. He can basically just skywalk forever. So, because of the massive amount of stamina he has. Since he's basically every Straw Hat combined, but the strength he basically has the same strength for every move he can copy from other Straw Hats. Except when it comes to Devil Fruit powers or Frankie's body. Oh, don't worry, he can hit stronger than Frankie if the two would punch well, exchange a single punch and that they would hit the hand of the other. Frankie's fist would probably bend pretty easily for Izuku because of, well, he basically has the strength. I think in terms of physical strength, Zoro is supposed to be stronger than, well, practically everyone except Luffy. And so, with the amount of power he can do in a single strike, you could say that it doesn't really matter what the hell he wants to punch or to cut. He's going to cut it or he's going to break it. The only things that this rule doesn't apply to are things that are basically a lot stronger than steel and other stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. Because he cannot cut diamond yet. He trained a massive amount of time. Well, he trained 6 years on his technique, creating new ones and stuff like that, and augmenting his strength by a massive amount, as well as his hockey. But he still cannot cut diamond. He can cut pretty much any types of metal. Well, almost. But yeah, he can cut through pretty much everything except some specific power, well, materials. So his strength is immense. So everything that goes for strength, like grip test and ball throw, well, except for the ball throw because that he basically uses his slingshots, augment his body strength by a considerable amount by using Huggy, and then basically throws it really freaking far since the sniping powers of Usopp and the physical strength of Zoro, pretty sure it's going to space. Probably just shy of getting there, but let's say because we are talking about the slingshot Kabuto, which has 5 elastics that are basically extremely hard already to just pull back. Usopp's able to do that because, well, he trained to be superhuman, but a normal human would have trouble uh, taking them because of the 5. Um, sorry, I completely forgot the word right now. In French, it's called elastic. the bands that he has on it were basically like extremely tough. So he had a lot of training with that, and then if you count, well, if you add the strength of um, Zoro, he can basically stretch it probably far enough for it to really go in space. So, since basically he kind of augmented the strength of them in his world now, because, well, because of his strength, in fact, since he did get a lot stronger just from training himself with both hockey and stuff like that. So basically, his slingshot is extremely powerful. He can launch things probably halfway to space, so a really big amount. And yeah, so he got second place in that event, but pretty much first place in everything else. Speed, well, literally Zoro can do about something like 100 meters in seconds. Well, no, in less than a second. So 10 meters is basically he's already there. For the grip test, he broke it. He doesn't have to even stress it that much, and he broke it. For the side jump, pretty much is the same thing. His speed alone. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, everyone was basically surprised by that. When someone said, but he's using a slingshot to launch his ball, since this, the ball throw is basically the last thing. So let's say someone said, yeah, but he's using a slingshot to launch it. It's kind of cheating a bit. Which Aizawa was about to say, yeah, but he doesn't have a quirk. And then Izuku basically grabbed another ball, stretched his arm, and threw it practically the same distance. Well, no, even further, in fact. Since physical strength can probably go further than the slingshot. Well, no, in fact, it does. End of end of that question. So basically, he still gets second place for that, but he's first place anyway. Nobody gets thrown out because, well, just like in the anime, he already was able to get to know the students. Um, so when that was over, they all went home. The next day, it was with All Might. Um, All Might acted as if he didn't know Midoriya. Oh yeah, as well, Kamnari, since he did train for one for all and has it, he did get do better in the entrance, not entrance, well, yeah, in the entrance exam he did better, but in Aizawa's test he did better as well. So now we're going for the hero versus villain that All Might did. So when it starts, every team is basically the same, Buck goes basically thinking it's going to be close combat, it's going to be harder for him to do it, and since it's going to be indoors, he won't be able to fly away or use his sword to be that much since he's not going to be able to use them at their full potential. He knows he can cut rocks, but he just tried to think rationally for normal people, just because he wants to believe he can win. Since basically he knows he's probably going to lose, but he's hoping that he can at least hope to hold him back for a bit. When it starts, Izuku doesn't do anything special. He starts running inside. Basically, the plan that they did was we're going to start running inside. When we arrive near Bakugo, I'm going to use to coat my body in haki completely, and you stay behind me while we go straight for him. So when they started and Bakugo saw them, he went for the biggest explosion he could with his bare hands, and they did exactly what they planned. And the moment the smoke came out, Izuku and Ochako were right in front of him and basically knocked him out. Like, Izuku gave a massive punch straight to the head without going full strength because he would basically explode the Bakugo's head clean off. But just enough to knock him out. After that happened, they went for Ida, which Ida was kind of easy since he's nowhere near Izuku's speed, so Izuku was basically just kind of looking at him running and just went and catch the bomb. So they won. Later, every other group basically does the same except with Kaminari's group, which I don't remember if they won or lost in the anime. I don't even think they said it in the anime, but if he lost, this time he won. And basically that, because, yeah. So after that, things happen. Basically, everything happens kind of normally as in the anime. They choose the class president. They go. They get the alert because villains attacked the school. When they looked outside, well, when Ida looked outside, it was just the press. He told everyone to calm down. Everyone did. He got set as class president. And then later they go for the USJ. In the USJ, they started going in, but the moment they got in, since Izuku basically always has a layer of armament haki that is in the invisible layer, as well as always having his observation haki on, so he basically sees everything around him in like oh, 50 or something meters around him, complete bubble where he sees here and basically everything that happens, he knows it. So when doing that, he basically, just before entering completely, he says, everyone stand back and get back out, with everyone kind of asking him what he's talking about. And then he says something wrong is right inside there, which they all stay at the door, and just after they kind of start going out, the power shuts down, the door tries to close, but Izuku was basically in the way since they were literally in the door. And so they just saw the portals, the villains coming out, and then um, Shigaraki was like, wait, why are they there? They should be further than that. What's happening? Where's All Might? Thinking that he's the reason they're back, but he doesn't see him at all. Then he tells Kurogiri to make a portal behind them and absorb them all. And um, Izuku tells Ida, run and get help. Which he tells him, but you're the one that's faster. He says, yeah, but I'm also stronger. I can stop them. Which is true. So Ida basically starts running. The portals start appearing, and Izuku says to 13, like, a specific direction to use her quirks on, which 13 does. Then, when Kurogiri tries to pull the same trick as in the anime, he tells 13 to stop using it because he's basically going to turn it on herself. Because since he basically has the same observation, he had the same observation he as Luffy before leaving, which means he could see about a second or so in the future, and that then he trained it for 6 full years. He can see at least like 4 or 5 seconds in the future easily. If he really needs to push it, he can go like 8 or 9. So he saw that what was happening. If you think he's too powerful, that's basically the whole point of this one. Just as my Saiyan Deku. They trained with the best to be one of the best, and both of them can get stronger a lot faster because basically the Saiyan, well, he's a Saiyan, and this one has a quirk that basically makes it so that the more interested he is in something, the faster he can learn it and be able to fight with it. So getting a lot stronger, a lot faster. And so after that happened, he basically jumped forward to the vents with Aizawa telling him, "What are you doing?" And then Izuku basically just taking out his all three of his sword and using the special technique that I made him learn that can cut pretty much through anything alive without leaving a mark on them. They aren't even cut, but they feel the entire pain they should have, to the point of them just about to die from the pain, but without dying. And he basically does that to everyone in front of them, which does count Kurogiri, that his collar gets sliced. Shigaraki, the Nomu's basically the only thing that stays up. And let's say it has a command that if Shigaraki was attacked, to attack directly the thing that attacked him. So the Nomu goes straight for Izuku after everyone was on the ground, and Izuku basically just sliced him in half. The problem is he didn't slice in the right direction. He didn't cut the brain, he just cut him in half directly, thinking it's a monster, basically seeing that it's a monster in fact. When it started regenerating, everyone were like, oh shit. Until Izuku basically went for the brain, or like Thanos would said, go for the head. Sorry, just rewatched Infinity War and Endgame like 2 or 3 times in the week. 2 of them on my own accord. The last one just because I didn't really have a choice. But yeah. So he destroyed the Nomu. Kurogiri started having getting back conscious. And just when he did that, he basically grabbed um, Shigaraki and took him away. Because there was no way for them to win this. Not at this point. So, when the pros arrived, they basically saw everyone on the ground. Aizawa was scared because, well, a student just killed a lot of people. Then Izuku said they're not dead, they're literally just unconscious. Then everyone told him, but you used your swords. Then, since with the police and everything, there were medics that came. When they checked all of the villain, they were like, there's no cut on them. They're literally just passed out. Their body looks fine. It just looks as if they had a shock to their nervous system, which isn't that far from the truth. Just isn't exactly that. Since it would have killed them if he didn't learn the technique. And then he basically was asked by multiple heroes what the hell he did. Because you don't cut someone without leaving a mark normally. And then he explained that it's a special technique that requires a massive amount of concentration and visualization, which he says he has both, which he does, in fact. Then, basically, Aizawa tells him, you know that was extremely dangerous, not just for you, but for everyone. Which Izuku responded, if it was dangerous for others, I wouldn't have done that. And then he said, okay, but what if someone was strong enough to fight against you? Then he said, that would have been fun. Everyone was like, what do you mean, fun? Then he said, well, basically, I kind of trained to do that during the 3 years I was gone. Fight against people stronger than me and still beat them. Then he pointed to his, he literally pointed to his massive scar on his chest, but without anyone looking at it because it was under his shirt. But the guys got what he said. He said what he meant. And then one of the girls asked him what he was trying to say. But yeah, also since they are in the hero costume, he has his raid suit on. So basically, he takes it off, then lifts his shirt, and basically shows the massive scar. And even Aizawa was like, "What the fuck happened to you? What the fuck did you do while you were there? The training I can get, but what the hell is that? You should be dead." Same. So basically, when they go back to school, Aizawa wanted recovery girl just to basically check him because well, it normally a scar like that would end your life before you even has the chance to make a scar. So when they go to see her and that she checks it, she basically for the first time makes a full diagnostic on him with multiple other medical professional because well all of the medic that saw what he had were like you shouldn't be alive right now. So they literally like a group of them went in the hospital with recovery girl as well and a lot of heroes. We're basically looking at every scar, damage, and everything else that he has. And for every damage that he has, they're basically saying stuff like you shouldn't be able to walk because of that one. You shouldn't be able to use that arm. You shouldn't be able to feel anything in that. Well, not feel, but you shouldn't be able to move that at all. Or you should be dead from that one. With Izuku basically saying that he survived, he was able to, and that it didn't really matter what he got or what he gets for damage because he can basically fix himself up as as long as he has his tools and at least one arm. So basically, they're like telling him that even if he survived, all of those damage are still there. Like everything that wasn't able to be perfectly fixed would have killed him. He's lucky everything's all right for him, but it should have killed him normally. So the next day, when everyone got back to class to basically be told that they're going to have a full week off, everyone basically, even Bakugo, basically asked him how's his body, what did they tell about it, and Izuku nonchalantly basically told them, nah, they said I should be dead from half of my injuries, but it's okay. With Aizawa basically saying, what the hell did they say? It shouldn't be normal for someone to act like you are. Mostly after all that happened to you. You were kidnapped, and then for 3 years you just trained to be able to stay there. But why would you even fight if you only wanted to come back? Then he said, because my captain said so. That was the bargain that I had to do. Even without, I could have stayed on their ship and be with them until I got back. Or I could be one of them, fight with them, be like them, and train with them. If I didn't accept fight with them, I wasn't getting any training. And if I didn't get any training, I would probably not even have been able to come back here. So that is the reason why I fought to save my life multiple times. I fought to save the life of my friend multiple times. Those injuries aren't bad. The ones I was with got way worse multiple times. So basically, after that, everyone asked him if they could train with him, as well as asking if he could tell them stories about, well, everything that happened to him. So the full week off of school, basically, it was him with practically everyone just training except for Shoto, that didn't really care about it at all. Um, I had someone else I thought wouldn't train with him. I know it's not Kaminari because All Might told him that he should probably go with them. But there's still someone that wasn't going to train with them. I'm trying to. Sorry. I'm sleepy and have a hard time remembering half of the stuff. I wrote most of the thing down, but some of the stuff I thought I would be able to remember them. And those are the thing I'm having trouble with right now. Shoto didn't train with him. And who was it? Not Tokoyami. Wait, no, it was Tokoyami. Tokoyami didn't want to train with them because basically they decided to train during the day and the night. And he could have just went with them during the day and leave for the night because of his work. But he just decided not to train with them at all and to train on his own. Izuku and the others were kind of like, okay, well, doesn't really matter. Too bad you're not going to train with us, but nah, you do you. So, after a bit, um, well, during the training, everyone was basically trying to copy him with his hockey, asking him how it works. Um, Momo asked him for um, sword training, basically asking to see his sword, asking what material they're made of, and then trying to replicate them exactly. She replicated the way they looked perfectly, but they're really not that strong compared to his, and one of them isn't cursed as well, so that. um, Basically, how he trains everyone is everyone asking, are basically asking for a physical training or training to basically try to do like he can do with some of his martial arts, like Ojiro, if I remember correctly, the tail guy, asked him for his black leg style, so kicking mostly. Um, Kirishima was basically asking him for about the hardening most of the time and training to get harder. Well, yeah, harder basically. Which he basically put both of them, Ojiro and Kirishima, together, basically saying that both of them should train in the black leg style for, well, Ojiro because that's what he wanted, and Kirishima so that he didn't just have punch and stuff like that. He told them they would not be able to make his leg on fire like he can, and then at some point one of them asked why he, let's say the first day after he basically gave everyone what training they would do, he basically put on his raid suit and they asked him why he was able to get his hero suit out of school, which he said, well, because it's not from school, it's basically mine. I have it since, well, before I came back, and it's basically made to fit me no matter how tall or small I am. Then he takes it off and basically gives it to Bakugo, which they have a good size difference, and he tells, and Bakugo tried it multiple times already, so he knows how it works and stuff like that. And basically, Bakugo puts it on, and it fits him perfectly, just as for Izuku. And then everyone wants to try it, but Izuku said, not really. The only reason I let him use, use it sometime is because we trained for a massive amount of time and it basically augmented his speed, so we were able to go to a further place easier. Because every raid suit can fly, so it made it easier for Bakugo to follow Izuku. That's basically what happened. And so sorry about that. So Bakugo took it off, gave it back to Izuku, which placed it back on to his belt. Because what was happening was, well, not on his belt, but in his bag. Because what was happening was that he was basically looking for something in it. So he kind of took it out. Then he went back to looking, which he found it. What he was looking for. What he was looking for was a blend, basically the same ball as choppers have, their rumble balls. He basically has some in like a bottle. He basically knows how to do them and has basically every plant growing in his room to be able to do it if he wants to. He knows they might never be useful in his world, but he still kept them. He basically asked everyone if they wanted one, acting like it was candy, since it might as well be for normal humans. Just because he wanted to see how it would react to different types of quirks. And it took a while for him to create them because when he came back to his world, all of the plants he had were already grown, but he decided to make sure he could use them a lot more time. So he placed them in pots, made sure that they were able to grow, stuff like that. So it was basically able to just well, now he's basically able to just have as much as he wants because every plant he that were used for anything back in One Piece world, he has something to make them grow or stuff like that in his room. So everyone ate them, and basically he added a small sugar cover around them and added a small bit of taste. And they just said that it tasted a bit weird, but it was still good. And none of them had any effect on them, or at least for now. Because it's just the first day, and let's say the first day, Tsuyu wasn't able to get there. So yeah, her body is going to be affected by them. Just like for Chopper, they last for 3 minutes. Compared to Chopper, though, it won't have the effect of it if she eats 3, she grows into a monster. All it will do is basically make her look more like a frog and augments her capacity. That's basically all it will do, but only for a temporary amount of time. And then that also takes a massive amount of energy out of her, so every time she uses one, she needs to wait for a bit before being able to fight again. It's not really spoiler because it's going to be in the next part anyway. And the moment I said Rumble Ball, I'm pretty sure some might have think about it, since Chopper animal transformation. Who who's an animal? Well, Suyu. So that's basically it. So I'm going to end it here before all of the training they're going to do. Hope you liked it. If you have any idea on how everyone will be able to be stronger, like what will Deku train them for? Because I did say that Momo was going to train for like one sword style and two sword style. Basically making herself swords that are tougher than normal swords, but still not as strong as Izuku's sword. Less cursed for one of them. As well as basically just Ojiro and Kirishima training for Blackleg style, so being able to kick a lot stronger. They'll still use their normal fighting style at the same time, so they won't be like Sanji who'd only use his legs. But yeah, so hope you liked it. This was part 2 of What If Izuku Was Trained by the Straw Hats. And Natsu